So the first secret, and this is where we're going to have to be a bit interactive, ladies, you've got to identify what you want to achieve, what you would like to achieve. Sandy, this is Sandy, isn't it? Might be very different to what somebody else might achieve. It has to be your own, where you want to go. For me, I wanted to work around the children. I wanted to do something that had the potential, you know, to grow when the children went to school. I wanted to be able to take them to school and the flexibility to, you know, talk to the teacher, be there for, you know, school sports days, nativity plays, and all of the rest of the things that you like to do with them, or you don't want to miss out. I wanted to walk to and from. I wanted to pick them up and have that time with them. I wanted to earn a good income. It's not a hobby. It was, you know, it's proper money. It was going to pay for some of the stuff in our house. I'd be a rubbish funeral director. I just would be trying to engage and chat, and, you know, it's not my business. So whatever I did, it was going to have to be something that I could get excited about. And you can probably tell I'm quite excited. To me, that's what really mattered to me. And I couldn't start any journey without knowing what it was I wanted to achieve. So this is where I'd like you to just take a moment or two. What do you want to achieve? Imagine in 5 years' time, you look back. I mean, my boys now 8, 10 and 11 or 12. You know, I started when they were all under 3, and I have done this. I've looked back and checked that I was on track for what I personally wanted to achieve. So what is it you would like to achieve? Do you want to walk your kids to school? Do you want to be there when they come home? Do you want to make sure that you're not there when they come home? Do you want a rewarding career, or are you not so positive about that? What is it? Even if you can think of one thing you would like to achieve, and that will help us identify what your work-life balance is about. And it's really powerful to have a goal. I can't underestimate that. And your goal will be very different to the person next to you, unless you've copied. We've talked about that. This is a famous quote of mine, because I do use it a lot. If you know where you want to get to, it's so much easier to get there. It's not rocket science, but it's what we've just said, you know where you want to go to. Sometimes my girls feel like an impossible dream, and maybe some of those do as well, especially, you know, a rewarding career, and you've got a child, and people have said to me, you know, don't be mad, you can't have it all. But how can you give a child a cake and say you can't eat it? You can have your cake and eat it. You just have to decide what are the boundaries and how you're going to get there, and accept there are certain things that you have to do to achieve that. And in order to get there, you do need courage, because people will say, oh, you know, oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, no, that's not going to work. It didn't work for me. I wouldn't do that. And other people will go, yes, brilliant, well done. You need a map, you need to know where you're going. Obviously, we all arrived today. We've got a map, we know where we're going, time-wise, etc. A blueprint's really good. You can start things from scratch, but if you've actually got a plan that somebody else has done, you can bounce far higher without trying to get everything from scratch yourself. It's not to say that's impossible, but to get a great work-life balance, I think having a plan and having a map of maybe what someone else has done, some sort of blueprint, does help you. You know, why reinvent the wheel? If something's there, that's good. Take it and use it to your advantage. And this idea of a vision, you know, imagining what you'd like your future to look like in 5 years' time, what's important to you. Because once in 5 years' time, you can't go back, but you can now look forward and get there for when you reflect back. So the second one, I've mentioned about a plan. Doing something that you've loved. I'm sorry, I don't know your name? Melinda. Melinda's brilliant, because, you know, she talks about being creative, wanting to share it with other people, doing something that you love, because you're going to be much better and much more fulfilled if it's something that, you know, that you love. Find out what's worked for other people. As I said, when you take advice, most people will say, oh, you don't want to do that. Whatever it is, oh, now, I remember somebody said to a colleague, oh, you don't want to get a bookkeeper. You don't want to pay someone £15 to do your books. You could do that yourself. But that person decided to pay someone to do the books, and their business grew because they weren't doing their books. You know, this wasn't a Creation Station person. This was just somebody, you know, just be careful who you take advice from. Take advice from people who are really successful and doing well, not somebody who hates the job and, you know, never sees their kids and, you know, just be conscious of who gives you advice. And do your research, you know. I mean, the internet's brilliant because you can research, you know, whenever you want, a bit too often, I think, actually. But you can find out exactly what's going on, talk to people who are doing perhaps similar to what you would like to do, you know, make the most of planning and doing your research about getting the right thing for you. Secret 3 is, oh, I don't know if I should tell you this one or not. Oh, that was it, yeah. Make decisions. It's not luck that makes other people have a great work-life balance at all. People make a decision. They decide they're going to get a balance with their family and work. They also decide to get a great career, not just one that fits into school hours. Doing nothing's also a decision. It's an easy decision. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You can just carry on. So, when I went back to, you know, Secret 1 about sometimes it takes courage, you know, making a decision is about starting that journey. Fast decisions have been proven to be as effective as taking ages. And sometimes the big decisions are easier to take because you think, yeah, I just know that feels right. And then I'll work out how to do it. So, do something, make a decision. Even if it's decide not to do nothing, but you are deciding your future. Don't struggle with the juggle. You don't have to be out there doing it by yourself. There are other like-minded women around. They may not be necessarily your friends, because friends are friends, and I love my friends, but they're quite different to me. So I don't tend to talk to them about work. In fact, it's great not to talk to my mates about work. We talk about everything, but although they all did want to come to this talk, actually. Sarah, what are the secrets? Tell me how you do it. How can you work and do this? But do get a like-minded set of network. And invest, very much, invest in yourself. As they say, you are worth it. And the rewards will be immense because actually, it's not going to just affect you. Who else is it going to affect? You know, all those little ones. And they do grow into big ones, I can assure you, very quickly. And by investing in you and making that choice for family time will have a much bigger impact. And not just your 5 years, but, you know, their future as well. I think that's quite powerful. And I've seen that a lot with my boys, especially the 12-year-old, who's still very creative and problem-solving, but very much engages and communicates and talks to people, you know, and is quite not assertive, but we still have an incredibly good relationship because I know the next 5 years probably going to be quite tough, but I've spent an awful lot of time. In fact, today is possibly one of the only days that I'm not going to be there. I've always been there. Take them to school, pick them up. So, because that was one of my core values. Now they don't actually want me to take them to school, so I have to sneak around. I'm having to change that a little bit. I actually started to go running and doing other things in the morning, which was, you know, a bit of me time. But, you know, just think about you know, as well. If you're going to be... It's tough being a mum. There's an awful lot of things to do. Just make sure you invest in yourself. Systems. I love systems, because without systems, everything is so much hard work. When I started from scratch, I had to source for instance, I had to source all of my arts and crafts products. I needed to get cost sheets. I had to source everything from scratch. I had to write the session plans. I had to test them. But over those, I ran the business for 5 years myself around my kids. And I chunked everything down into a system, tested it, checked it, reviewed it. That's the system. Did that with everything to make it really easy. Because sometimes my boys didn't sleep very well. And sometimes, you know, I had to get up and run a workshop. And I wanted to run the workshop without thinking. I wanted everything set up so I could just go in, smile, and not have to think about it. Because then on the days when I could think, I could do a little bit more. But a bit like getting in the car and driving. You know, you don't think, you think about the journey, not about, I've got to close the door, I've got to check that, I've got to do which pedal to press. You know, a system makes it so much easier for you. It was also very expensive starting from scratch. I remember getting a load of paint delivered, and I said, oh, I won't be in. Can you leave it with my next door neighbour? And he said, are you sure? I said, yeah. I said, she's 80. It might take her a while to come down to the door, but she'll be fine. He says, you do realise you've just ordered a ton of paint? I said, have I? I said, oh, well, don't leave it with her. Tell you what, I'll get a garage. I'll hire a garage and put it in the garage, and we'll sort it there. But I did get a really bottle of paint was really cheap. Of course, the storage on the garage was quite a lot. Now we've got a warehouse and we've got a shop for our franchisees. So the systems we have for our franchisees, they're all the things that used to really annoy me. Like, oh, I want to get cheap paint, but I don't want to hire a garage or annoy my neighbour with a ton of paint coming. So we've got a nice little online shop for franchisees. They press a button and they can buy everything. So all the things that took a lot of my family time, what I've tried to do is keep it simple for the franchisees so they can separate, you know, work and life. Easy. Like easy. And do you remember I talked about Secret 1, about what it is that you want to achieve? The Secret 7 is stay focused. You know, you can go like that and different things happen, but if that is what you want to achieve from your life, stay focused on it and do all of the things that will get you close to that goal, then that will take you off by a few degrees.